This is how we're starting. Welcome to our latest episode of the Bob and Josh Show.
Entry music. Da, 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 da. It's the Bob and Josh Show. Hey everyone, welcome.
We have a new setup.
This is Big Josh and I'm Little Bob.
So we thought we'd lean into the size difference we have, and
We have a size difference? I never noticed.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Be still my heart.
So today we're going to discuss.
I thought my neck was just up this way all the time.
You always go home after
I go home
recording,
like
like, man, my neck
It
hurts.
takes me like an hour to adjust.
All right, so today's topic is big A, yeah, and little a agile, and the I don't know what that was, and the difference is therewith, if that's a word. We'll go with that.
All right.
But let's just start at the simplest thing to make sure that we connect the dots on what big A is and little a is, and the differences there. So just the basics. Like if we look at the chairs that we're on, Bob has
A metal folding, wonderfully metal, like it is painted.
it is,
Yeah. So
but it works.
it does indeed
It's
work.
all you need.
There are no extras on my chair.
No, there are no extras. And then I'm sitting in a rather expensive gaming chair
Yeah.
that has allowed me to raise my seat even higher and make us look even more ridiculous than we normally do.
I would say that's true.
Yeah, I don't need this
I've
for
actually
the podcast.
I've asked to borrow that
He
chair on
has.
occasion, and my ass is not even getting close to the
No.
chair ever.
No.
So it's a very special chair.
Yeah, this was way too expensive. So, okay, so let's talk about how big A and little a became a thing. Because
Okay.
we've kind of hinted at this in the past. My belief, my statement, and you can validate or disagree, is that we started out as little a agile. Then the business of agile created this big A monster that now is out there that we all have to wrestle with. Would you agree with that?
I think if Agile started in methods in the 90s, actually even early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, it was there was no description or words around big A versus little a, but it was little a. It
Yeah.
was in its essence, and then the manifesto.
Yeah.
So that was written in 2001. So that was a little a construct. Yeah. I don't know when it became like
Yeah, like who's patient zero in big A?
I think the Scrum Alliance, probably not intentionally. I'm not saying there was any bad intent, but the Scrum Alliance probably started it with the certifications. They were the initial certifying body. So Extreme Programming, Crystal, all of the other methods. There was a hodgepodge of methods that people were experimenting with. There was Crystal Colors. There was feature-driven development. I remember when I was first teaching Agile, I had a slide that had like 8 methods on it. And this was back around that time.
Yeah.
And there were all of these experimental methods.
Do you think it's like the guy that invented the Keurig cups? Like he had this great idea trying to give to society, then looking back a decade or two later, and he realizes there's all these little plastic cups that are in landfills. So this great idea kind of got away from him. Do you think the first people that went down that path have that feeling?
So some people, Martin Fowler, for example,
Yeah.
he was the guy in one of our videos or podcasts. We were talking about the agile industrial complex, and Martin Fowler wrote a piece, a blog post, maybe 5 years ago, alluding to this thing.
Right.
And he was he at the? I don't know if he was a signatory, but he is famous in the agile community in the pattern space.
Yeah.
And he talked about it. So he regrets it. Alistair Coburn regrets it. In fact, some of them, the pragmatic programmers, Andy Hunt and his partner, who were there, who were signatories,
Yeah.
they lament the industrial complex.
So as the guy in this video that's representing Big A Agile, am I just inherently bad? Is there good stuff that I add to the space, or am I just totally negative?
It's really negative. I actually think you get cut a break
Really?
by people
Yeah.
that they, you know, I'll use so safe.
Yeah.
So I'll pick on safe. I always pick on safe,
I
but
never noticed.
I don't pick on safe enough. Safe is a behemoth that has taken the world by storm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done by Dean Leffingwell. And I think people give a lot of folks credit as like their hearts are in the right place, or it's, what do those big companies do? Oh, they need something that tells them what to do, right? Because they're so complex.
Right.
So I think people give Big A Agile a pass. It's pretty damned evil. If you look at the intent of Little A, right, and what people were trying to do, most of the folks in the beginning are really sad with what's happened.
Right.
Now Schwaber and Sutherland probably are less sad. Maybe they're cashing in. So the people who are cashing in on stuff,
Yeah.
But the original signatories who were pure of heart, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sad.
But I've been able
You are a behemoth.
I mean, look at the chair.
I know.
Right, the chair, it's unnecessary. So let's hit the pause button and provide a little bit of clarity, a little bit of definition around how we separate the two. Little A Agile versus Big A Agile. Little, big. Is it just like minimum viable?
It's
is the dividing line?
Minimum viable, maximus viable. Simplicity, complexity.
Right.
You don't need certifications. Experience trumps learning. I want to cha-ching as many certifications as I can.
Right.
What else? Leaders over here or organizations over here have to think about what they do to become agile. People over here want to buy a box that says I'm agile.
Yep.
And I want to check the box. I know I'm being binary, but I really think...
Well, but I think it's really good to help people. Maybe this is the first time that you've heard the concept of little a and big A, so I thought it was worth spending some time.
Well, you go. That was mine. Yeah. What do you think?
The dividing line is that minimum viable thing, just like the chairs. Bob has the simplest chair that he needs to get the job done to be in this video. I have a potentially ridiculous chair that is not necessary, that adjusts in every potential direction that you could imagine, that I'm not sure I've used 90% of it. But hey, cool, it's comfortable, it looks good, and I like it. Would I keep using it? Yes, I use it every day.
Well, we could strap rockets on it, and you could even travel around the neighborhood.
Right.
Right? For an additional cost,
accurate.
And you need to be certified in how to, sort of guide the rockets.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
But so that delineation is minimum viable. Certs, maybe they help, maybe they don't. But for Big A Agile, it's almost prescribed. It's required. It's a thing that you have to do and maintain. Whereas Little A Agile, it's what have I learned? How have I evolved? How have I changed?
What am I sharing with the community?
Right.
So this is about, I think Little A is much more community driven. You know what, Josh, the essence of the Metacast. Big A or Little A?
Little A.
Little A.
Little A.
Our intent wasn't to monetize everything, to charge for every... I mean, we have Patreon, and we try to get some compensation, but our mindset... So, giving back to people, consuming from people. Right?
Oh, that's a really good point, yeah.
Right? I mean, you and I, we give back. We try really hard to give back.
Right.
Right? So community is a big part of it. It really is polar opposite. I'm not saying the folks on the Big A side are all evil.
No.
I don't think they know how bad it is. It's like, what is that? You put a frog in boiling water, what is it? It gets, if you put it in lukewarm water and
slowly boil it.
And slowly boil it, the frog doesn't realize it's being boiled.
Yeah.
Right?
So it goes back to the Don't Get Pickled podcast that we did a while back.
Exactly.
Right? So one thing that I do want to make sure that all our viewers understand is don't run away from Big A Agile. There is hidden value in it. I've found it. But you have to go in with that skeptical eye of, okay, what part of this is minimum and viable that I can use that applies to the challenges that we have? Don't just like toss it in the trash and don't look at it. Look at it, but be thoughtful and inspect and find the pieces that add value for you. Maybe there's none, maybe there's some, but there are smart people in the big A agile game. It's not that they're all evil and trying to just make money. Yes, that's a byproduct and the key driver, but there is some intent there to drive things forward, so you can find bits and pieces that, yes, this makes sense for us.
I'm going to challenge you in a positive way. When you Safe is one of your clear case studies.
Yeah.
That you reuse things from Safe positively.
Yes.
But you know what? If I inspected you and gave you a certification, you did not like use release planning or
correct.
You did not. So there's a 28-page document on the Safe site that gives you a prescriptive guideline. Here's the agenda. It's a 2-day event. You didn't follow that.
Correct.
So you minimized. So you didn't. So out of all of the Safe, you pick PI planning, but even then, you Joshified it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. That's the point. So on the big A side, what I would say is, and you didn't just skinny it down. You thought about it.
Right.
You brought it to your context. You didn't just grab a checklist and bring it in and say, we're going to do PI planning, guys. I'm going to go play golf now. Here's the recipe for it, and pivot.
Right.
And that's the difference here. It's like people want to buy Agile. Big A is I want to purchase Agile. Little A is I want to be Agile. Mm-hmm. I want an easy way to be Agile. Over here, you got to be thoughtful, and it's hard work.
Yes, it is much harder.
Yeah.
It is definitely. But so I think the thing to walk away with this from is attack everything you do with a little A agile mindset. Like that. I mean, there's no mindset better than this. Can you? I mean,
look how shrunk up I am. Look how huge he is next to me.
But you can bring that little A agile mindset to the big A agile world and extract and evolve the pieces that make sense for you.
So that's everyone. I want to get this guy smaller, right? He needs to become little A.
I can go down in my chair.
Go down in your chair.
There we go. How's that?
There you go. I don't know what we can do about the head, but maybe put a small hat on it. But the point is, if you're in a big A context, work relentlessly. Not to just. I'm not saying destroy it. What I'm saying is lean it. Put on your agile hat. We need to actually disrupt this big A mindset. This industrial complex is not helping us to deliver value, to do things in simple ways. It's not helping the teams. It's really not. So again, don't complain, don't whine. It's out there, but what can we do to disrupt it? What can we do to get back to the essence of what Agile was, which is little A?
Yeah.
You want to react to that?
Yeah.
You look, I can tell.
I was very thoughtful, right? Because in our podcast, and we'll provide links below, we've talked about what happens when you get to a point and you believe the agile marriage is over. Or we talked about that. And the first episode of that 2-part series was around, like, don't just run out the door. Figure out what you can do. So the things that Bob is talking about right now is, what can you do if you find yourself in a big A agile shop? How do you approach that? What do you do? Don't give up. Don't bail. Bring your little A agile mindset to the game and start inspecting and adapting and peeling off the bits that work and finding the bits that don't and toss them out the door.
Yep. Run the experiments, right?
Yeah.
Be a role model, run the experiments. Yes, it may be hard, and yes, you may have to leave at some point, but it's worthwhile. If we don't do this, I mean, we need to get back to the essence from a motivation perspective. Little A is the game. And let's see if we can get back there. And it's not just Josh and I, what's it, the Crystal, Alistair Coburn. Mm-hmm. What is it? He's created the Heart of Agile or something like that. There's quite a few movements that are around getting by the very people who were around back in the day about trying to get back to simplicity, get back to basics. So let's just jump on board and see what we can do.
Sounds good.
All right, are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, from beautiful downtown Fuquay, Varina. Let me do that again. Fuquay-Varina.
Thank you.
I'm Bob Galen.
And I'm Josh Anderson.
Shake.
And bake.
Take care, y'all. Can I sit up now?
Yeah, you can sit up. You don't have to hunch.
Oh my God, I felt I was dwarfed. I was a dwarf next to you. You were huge. Huge. I thought it was a master stroke of you coming down.
Lowering the chair?
I thought
it was. It popped in my brain of, you know what? It's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Can we just take a second and talk about the hat?
You don't like my hat?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just want to talk about the hat.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
When did the hat become a thing?
What do you mean? I always wear hats.
Do wolves eat mooses?
I don't think so.
Does anything eat a moose?
Only if they're old or lame or something. No, moose are like... moose's legs... Moose are like big. They're freaking huge. When a car hits a moose, all it hits is legs.
I gotcha.
Right? They're like 4... Just up to their body is like 3 to 4 feet. Of 2,000 pounds.
So what you're saying is a young, large wolf would be able to take down an aging moose.
Yeah, yes, yes. If it's hopping around, if it's had its little knees replaced, yeah.
I just want to be the wolf that takes down the old moose.
You've already taken me down. I'm defeated.
Is it the chair thing?
It's the chair thing.
It's the chair thing?
You ripped out any pride, any ego that
You agreed to this.
I know I did. I know, but I didn't realize
you did it for the community.
I did. I took one for little
agile.
I took one for us, for the podcast.
Everyone, I don't think
I sacrificed myself for the good of humanity.
Yeah, I don't think we can thank Bob enough for this episode.
No, it's okay. It's what I do.
Okay.